This is the beast of nature, the freak, Rob Terry.
I'm Johnny Spade, the new Ohio Valley heavyweight champion with the pretty new belt around my waist.
Hi, I'm OVW official Josh Ashcraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Triple Threat Talk. I'm Dean Hill.
This is Ricky Chevy, and I'm the blue-collar millionaire.
I'm Mr. Peck. God, that's great every time. Spectacular.
We're the Broner Brothers.
I am the One Go Revolution, Taylor Hendricks.
This is Brandon Espinoza.
I'm the Assassin.
I'm Bruno Raul Limata.
I'm James Moose Thomas.
I'm Shiloh Jones.
My name is Ron Head. I'm the announcer for OVW.
I'm Jamin Olivencia.
I'm Alex Silva. I'm Rocco Bellagio.
I'm Kerry Bodie, the Ohio Valley Wrestling fan advocate.
Raphael Constantine.
I'm Rand Perez. My name's Muhammad Ali. Baez.
I'm Paradise.
This is Jack Black.
This is Ohio Valley Wrestling referee Chris Sharp.
This is Sexy Sean Casey. I'm Chris Silvio.
This is Michael Hayes. This is Jason Wayne.
And you're watching Triple Threat Talk.
Welcome everyone to yet another exciting edition of the internet sensation Triple Threat Talk. I am Gary, the Dr. Locker. This is Big B, Brandon DeMuro, and we have Postmaster Jones, Mr. Jimmy Biggers. How are you guys doing today? You guys doing good?
Doing good.
I'm doing with that grin.
I'm doing great.
What are you doing?
Why are you doing great? I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
I had a great 2 days. Sunday and Monday were absolutely fantastic.
He's excited because he does have some credit coming. A very prestigious tennis name tweeted him the other day and told him he was horrible. No, I'm kidding.
You can't bring me down. Those 2 days were my days were made.
Who was it? Tell us about it.
I'll tell him when we get there. Let's gravitate. That's what I would say. Gravitate.
He's also excited that the person he voted for is our elected president too. So
we're not going to get into that.
Good job.
We're not going to get into that because if we get into that, there's going to be a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, and things are going to be flying all over the place. So let's just get into views.
But that doesn't mean you'll be right.
Anyway,
all right, let's get some user questions
from the Jeffrey Caster. We saw Devon and Luke Gallows as members in the Aces and Eights gang.
Uh-huh.
Who else do you think is the other members in Aces and Eights?
That's a good question. I think that what they say, Bully Ray, I think they said has been suspected of being a member.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Masters was in there. I've heard his name being tossed around a little bit. He might be one of them. Someone said D'Lo Brown was one of them, even though he's a road agent. He still might be in the... Again, with his Aces and Eight thing, I don't think they're going to reveal everybody. I think Devon was a key player to reveal. Luke Gallows was probably a key person to reveal, but other than that, they might reveal maybe one or two more people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I like what they're going with a little bit. The Devon thing was great. I thought that was a very good job with the Devon thing. So, but I think right now, I think maybe Chris Masters is the other key person in that group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why Chris Masters wouldn't be. We've heard a couple names around the OVW locker room maybe be jerked around a little bit, but other than that, I mean, I think Chris Masters, Bully Ray, probably, I wouldn't be surprised, kind of like with the invasion, they turned one major person that you never saw coming, like Stone Cold.
Right.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Styles was somehow
That'd be interesting.
Involved.
Him or Sting.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be. From Against All Odds 20.
You don't have an answer?
What?
You have an answer?
I agreed with what you all just said. If you said yes, that would be. Jeez. Have you guys seen the Legends of Wrestling NWO episode? And if not, it's in my favorites. That show gave me a lot of respect for Kevin Nash.
I have not seen it yet, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a huge junkie for when it comes to documentary stuff. I love seeing those behind-the-scenes things. Definitely, it's on our list of things to watch. Like I said, the NWO is a very prolific group, and I'm sure the documentary has a lot of interesting facts that you would not know. So I guess I will have to check it out eventually. But it's on our radar.
I have not seen it yet. It is now on my list. I actually had not heard of it. There's a couple things that we haven't heard of. that one I have not heard of, but anything once, like he said, the NWO is the reason I even started watching WCW, not WWE. I was a huge WWE fan in that. But Goldberg and the NWO were the two reasons I started watching the WCW. So I will definitely be sure to check it out.
I haven't seen it either, but I definitely will be checking it out. It's always good to see stuff about NWO and past wrestling, especially when it pertains to the WCW.
Right.
From the DJ Becca Show.
He's back.
Welcome back, buddy.
Who goes into the college basketball season with the most momentum?
I mean, obviously Kentucky's up there because they just won the whole thing. Indiana's got to be feeling pretty good because they're number one, even though they shouldn't be, but they are.
No, I think they definitely should be. They've got a great recruiting class.
Is that before or after?
You just made a comment last week that Louisville should be one.
No, I mean they should be definitely in the top couple.
Well, I'm saying.
Are you saying number one?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I said they're number one, but they shouldn't be.
All right, I got you.
Louisville has a lot of momentum because a lot of people think Louisville has a lot of good stuff this year. A lot of people coming back, a lot of favorites. I would say those top three have the most momentum because, I mean, let's face it, when it comes to basketball, this area, the Ohio Valley is king, bar none. So, top three teams are all from this area. So, most of your teams have definitely the most momentum going into the season.
I think you could answer the same three teams for the second question.
I think both of these questions are definitely related. Basically, the other question is who goes to the college basketball season with the most to lose? And I think those answers are UK. I think Postmaster's right. You can make a valid point. UK, U of L, and IU, all three of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
UK because they just won the tournament, and UK because they just won the tournament. U of L because they made it to the Final Four, and U of L because they just signed Rick Pitino until he's 70. IU because this is their... They've been building off of a phenomenal season.
Too bad now they're in trouble.
Now they're in trouble. Well, Cody Zeller's in trouble.
We'll get to that later.
But IU also because this is their number two recruiting class in the nation, followed by UK. And for all three of those reasons, respectfully, that's why they have the most momentum and the most to lose. And I think that you can make valid points for each of those three teams.
Yeah, I would say so.
Also from the DJ Becker Show, he would like to know where we went to college.
I think that's a good question.
My college is worth mentioning, so I'll let you go.
I think, you know what? Your job search, outstanding. You know, the things you do on this show are unprecedented. They're amazing. The graphics that you give us. So clearly they taught you something there.
Right.
And if someone doesn't snatch you up sooner, then that's one of the biggest injustices of our modern day.
I went to IT Technical Institute for 4 years. Looking back on it, I probably shouldn't have went there. All because it doesn't seem like they're as helpful as it should be when it comes to finding employment for you. Another thing that happened before I graduated, I got kind of screwed. 2 weeks before I graduated, they just said, "Oh, here you go. Here's another loan. You have to pay $10,000 back." So, again, looking back on it, weighing the pros and cons, there's more cons than there's pro when I went to the ITT. So, make your decisions more carefully. This show, I'm telling you now, this show is going to help us get places where we need to get to, and people that are around the show are going to help us get places we need to get to. So, if ITT doesn't want to help me get a job, that's their prerogative. But I'm going to get somewhere whether they want to help me or not.
I went to the University of Louisville. I completed my major with biology, got a minor in psychology, and I am a licensed certified pharmacy technician, which all those things is where we know as the doctor comes from. You kind of look like the Count today.
What the heck?
I went to Jefferson Community College for 1 year. Tested out of my freshman year. I hated college and never went back.
Amen. It's not for everybody.
I mean, that's simple.
It's not for everybody.
I went probably a fourth of the time the first semester because I didn't like it. Passed with all C's. About a month into my second semester, I went and tested out all my classes and I never went back.
It's not for everybody.
From the Big Corn 16.
Big Corn?
Do you guys think that TNA has better writing, talent, and has all around better weekly show than the WWE at this point in time?
Who wants to go first?
I mean, let's be nice here.
I'm not going to be mean. I think he's got a good point. I don't. Before you alluded to where you thought the whole thing was absurd, but at this point, the writing in TNA is god awful.
The writing,
The writing in TNA is horrible.
The writing in TNA is not even close. So that's not going to happen.
I have people that probably shouldn't be saying these things, telling me these things.
Right.
I'm going to leave their names out of it, but when they're telling me that TNA is bad, then it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing there is horrible.
Yeah.
However, the talent, I believe, may be a little bit better because they do search for talent in places that the WWE does not.
Right.
And they're more willing to push people that the WWE was not willing to. They turned Bully Ray into a main eventer, where at the WWE. Yeah, the Dudley Boys were a big deal, but they were never really main eventers. Jeff Hardy started being pushed by the WWE. They use him a lot more.
That's his own fault.
Well, I'm saying WWE, Vince McMahon wasn't going to really push it for that. was Shane McMahon's idea.
Mm-hmm. So I think that do they have the better weekly show at this point? The Aces and Eights group is definitely getting TNA on the map. That's why I started paying a little bit more attention to it. Is because of Aces and Eights, and because of some of our friends of the show. I want to see if I'll see them on there.
Sometimes you do.
But other than that, I mean, I'm still going to say the WWE is probably about 80% better than TNA.
I'll say this about WWE's product. You watch Raw, you watch 4 Raws and about 4 Raws a month, okay? Usually usually 3 of them are decent, and 1 of them is god-awful. That's usually what happens with Raw. 2 of them are bad, or 2 of them are good, and 3 of them are kind of decent, but 1 of them is usually horrible. TNA, like you said, the writing on it is just makes no sense. Some of the things they do make you go like, who decided that? What were they thinking? Talent-wise, I agree. Talent-wise, I think the thing about the talent-wise in TNA, like you said, they had people that were in WWE, so they push them differently and they use them differently than WWE did not. So I get that. I agree with that. And believe me, TNA, period. TNA Women's Division is by far more excellent than we ever can dream of.
Absolutely.
It's like
a great point.
WWE's women. If a match lasts 5 minutes, you scratch your head like, how did that match go that long? You're baffled matches go 5 minutes long. Women's matches in TNA are so exciting. If you don't watch TNA, but watch the women's matches in TNA, check it out. Their women's matches are phenomenal. But I agree with him. WWE's product right now is better. I don't think WWE's gonna improve to a point where they're not going to have to compete against them because TNA's not going to step up their game enough, in my opinion, to really compete with WWE. So WWE's just going to stay in a balance there. So.
What do you think, Mr. Gassy over here?
I don't know. I think you all have answered it pretty good. I don't think I need to input it any further. I mean, there's not much more I can say. I think it ties in a bit to James Bond's question.
It does.
He says, do you think WWE is dead and TNA is becoming better? No, WWE is definitely not dead.
No. I mean,
it might be hurting a little bit at times, but it's not dead, and TNA is not better.
And you know, we were looking for kind of a place to input this, but when you have your CEO that is in so much more power and authority, that they can run for state senate, your product is definitely not dead.
I'll say this much. In regards to WWE, Vince McMahon is obviously a multi-billionaire. He knows what he's doing. He's been around in business all his life. Dixie Carter, her dad bought TNA. Unless you don't know that her dad bought TNA. It's like, Daddy, will you buy me this company? Because he did. He bought her TNA. He bought stock in TNA. Thank you for the Pepsi. He bought stock in TNA. So obviously Vince knows more wrestling than I think Dixie Carter does. TNA, I'll tell you this much. If WWE was right now where they were, and TNA was where they were in 2007, there'd be a lot of conflict, because TNA was very good in 2007. 2007 was TNA's chance to really take them over or get right even with them, and they didn't take that shot. And TNA's now just at a place where they're not going to come back from.
I think what's going on here is a failure to go out and you know, we talked about, it's been a constant theme in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a failure on all companies' parts, not just TNA, not just WWE, not just ROH, but a failure to really go out and say, because basically all the stories that have been used, everybody is within the wrestling, has been within wrestling for years and years and years. Yeah. Stories are done. Stories are dried up. You need new things. Yeah. Come to us. I got great ideas for stuff.
The thing about stories is like most, like 90, well not 90, maybe 75% of the time it's like, I don't like you. Well, I like this person. That's fine. It's like, come on, think of something.
I mean, it's ridiculous the way booking has gotten to, because you have to be somebody. Yeah. And I don't agree with that, because I think anybody can write a good story.
Right.
But clearly, I mean, I'm just kind of searching for the right word to say
They're
it.
lacking storytellers and more along the lines they have people that no good television.
And there's a lot of things that get in the way. One thing that I've learned since we've been covering wrestling a lot more closely than we can, relationships get in the way. How people feel about other people get in the way. It shouldn't be that way. It should be about the talent.
Again, I read an article this past weekend. Stephen Richards, I remember from Right to Censor, he said something about John Laurinaitis said to him in the back. That's about Steve Richards not getting his push that he wanted. Laurinaitis told him, 100% of wrestling, 5% is what you do in the ring, 95% who you make friends with in the back.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be that way.
No.
From the Bucking Five, what would the three of you do if a zombie outbreak took place?
Zombie plan! What's your zombie plan, Big B?
I don't have a map yet, but we talked about this before.
No, we didn't. Well, we actually haven't talked about
I was going to say, we heard about the thing in Miami this past year with the guy eating guy's face off, and that was kind of shocking, the zombie attack, whatever. I always said my zombie outbreak plan would go to Home Depot and find as much weapons as I can.
Home Depot doesn't have weapons.
They have sledgehammers.
Sledgehammers?
That's a weapon.
I'm talking about a gun.
Well, I'd get a gun too, but you gotta have blunt objects. Blunt objects, fella.
Why blunt objects? I want sharp objects.
Well, you gotta get sledgehammers and 2x4s. You gotta get all these blunt objects together.
We'll continue talking about our zombie plans after the break. Stay tuned for more Triple Threat Talk.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want a little chippy? You want a Dorito? Are you hungry? I want to get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
Come on, get a chip. Come on, get a chip. Get a chip. Come on. Where are we going? I want Doritos.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am Big B Brandon. You're alongside Gary the Doctor Lockard. And on the far end over there is Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers. So we're talking about our zombie outbreak plans. And I said about blunt objects. If you've seen Shaun of the Dead, they have a cricket bat, they got all this stuff for blunt objects. They say remove the head or destroy the brain. Sometimes you can't get a good shot in dire situations.
You know what? Zombieland, I think, has better ones with the double tap rule. The rollover.
Don't talk me about Zombieland. Bill Murray got shot. How terrible was that?
But my zombie plan is to go to my friend Jason's house. We've got this worked out. We've got maps. We've got plans. He's got an arsenal of guns just because he's a hunter and a gun. He's a real big Fifth Amendment guy, gun right amendment guy. He's real big into that. And then I've got my trusty sword at home. I've got a ancient samurai sword at the house. I've got that in the background. We are ready to go, man. We're gonna lock down. There's a mountain over off Dixie Highway, close to where Waverly is, where Waverly Hospital is.
That'd be a bad area.
No, that'd be a great area.
That'd be a bad area if you get trapped in there.
But yeah, that's pretty much our zombie plan: is to secure that area and then hunt for survivors.
Pretty much.
See how this can be fun?
See, it's fun. It's fun. It's all fun.
For the Spike CV36.
No comment. He didn't even want to answer the question.
To clarify, I don't believe it could ever happen.
Well, you saw it in Miami.
That is not a zombie. The guy took some pills.
He's toxic. You didn't see that?
Whatever.
His toxicology.
Whatever.
All was in the system was marijuana.
That's true.
That's it.
The guy
flips out. People are psychic.
On marijuana, you don't do that.
Okay.
Hold on.
Are you saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a zombie?
Cannibalism is cannibalism.
Okay, that's what that guy did. It was cannibalism.
There's a difference.
No, there's not a difference.
Anyway.
The difference is it's stupid. It's fictitious. It's in movies and comic books. Get over it. It's not going to happen.
Here's the thing. There's always a skeptic, but here's the thing about his toxicology
report. It's not a skeptic.
Hold on.
Let him go.
The toxicology report came back from the doctor's office with such a minimal amount of THC in his system that it would not even have made him tweak an eyebrow.
I don't care. And to let you know, also, there's actually bugs in the wild in Africa called zombie bugs. Like, there's something with their brain, they can't control their brain, they just do whatever they want. So if that got out there and spread around the public, that could happen.
There's a lot of things. If it got out there,
well, I'm saying
a lot of things.
Could happen.
If it got out there, if it happened,
he's got a point with that.
I'm just saying it could happen.
He's got a point with that.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
That he's got a point.
Right,
You've got a point too. I mean, the point is though, it can definitely be done because when the CDC puts a notice about zombies on their webpage.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're playing along too.
Before we go to the next question, if they really happened, if you watch Walking Dead, it'd be very depressing. So.
Okay, back to normal here. From the Spike CV36.
He's gonna go first.
See what I gotta put up with this over here. What is the best wrestler catchphrase? Somebody call my mama. Feed me more. Fired. Oh hell yeah!
Rest in peace.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
All right, all good ones.
Well, we had to edit this question a little bit.
we did have to edit it a little bit because...
But
moving on.
In the original context, feed me more.
Oh God! I think on here I'm gonna eliminate somebody calling my mama because that's ridiculous.
Hey, I can in the original context.
In the original context. Feed me more.
Yes!
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 No, you're rolling. No.
No, you're rolling.
You're nope. Resting. Nope.
No, you're rolling.
The best catchphrase on this is clearly oh hell yeah.
Maybe for you.
You know what it is? Every time he sees a picture of Cody, that's what he says. He says, oh hell yeah.
Walked into that
one. Definitely, out of all those, it would probably have to be feed me more. Definitely. Feed me more. Or as we like to joke around, feed me s'mores.
Feed me s'mores.
Or if you really want to get, if you wanted to really talk in the context of the original question, you could say feed me.
And now they've all clicked the X button at the top right hand on the screen.
It's over there if you didn't know.
Let's use your question.
So with that, we move it over to Big B, who will anoint this week's User of the Week.
You know, I could go with the last question. I could, because it got a nice, fun spark out of the two of you. But I think the question that Buck and Five asked
Oh my God!
about the zombie
That's
outbreak,
under protest.
about the zombie-
I'm gonna have to protest this one too.
I'm gonna protest that too.
Nothing against Buck and Five. Nothing
We got a
against
good
it.
debate going.
But there is another viewer who I strongly believe it's your viewer of the week.
Okay.
So if that's what you want to do,
That's what you want to
it's
do.
your decision.
Since we're a group here, you can give me kind of what do you think?
I think it should be that guy.
Okay.
But
it don't have to be.
not
It's
mine.
your pick.
And I think he feels that way too.
Now you feel
It should be.
Did you feel that way too?
I feel that way
Okay.
too, but it's not our decision. It's your decision.
It's your decision. No pressure.
Okay.
No pressure.
Well, we want to anoint Buck and Five the viewer of the week. By all means,
we
go
love
right
Buck
ahead.
and Five. I got nothing against him.
We love the other guy. We love all of our viewers. But I'm just saying.
Just saying. So, my pick for viewer of the week is the DJ Becker Show.
go.
So the DJ Becker Show. You're this week's Triple Threat Talk
Viewer of the week. All right, that is viewer questions, and now I think
You
the
are.
line here.
Big B,
What?
would you please cue the cheesy headline music?
It's time. It's that time again.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Oh, I switched it up a little bit. Oh yeah, check that out. Oh yeah, that's good.
He switched it up.
Oh yeah,
He switched it up.
So,
People weren't ready for that. You didn't tell them.
Big B.
They weren't ready for it.
Shook him out of their
Big
shoes.
B.
Big yes.
Big B.
Yes.
What? So apparently we're leading headlines off with tennis.
Tennis? Some sort of tennis thing here.
Tennis, all right.
For some Barclays ATP World Tour Finals updates.
Let's go to Big B.
All right. So the thing you talked about earlier about the tennis thing.
Yes.
Two things happened this past weekend. Sunday, it was a final in Paris between David Ferrer and Jerzy Janowicz from Poland, who was the qualifier. And what are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't know what he's
Continue.
doing.
Right. So Jerzy Janowicz from Poland, he beat Murray on along the way. He had some very credible wins, but he eventually lost to Ferrer in the final. And then Brad Gilbert, who's a former tennis player, also coached Andy Roddick and also coached Andre Agassi. Said something on Twitter about congratulations to Ferrer. He's he's a fire, he's a beast, whatever. And really good to him. I hope to see more from Jerzy Janowicz, whatever. And then I tweeted him. I said, David Ferrer deserves it. He's the toughest fighter in all of tennis, and I hope to see more from Jerzy. And Brad Gilbert tweeted me back saying I agree 100%, which was awesome for me to do that. Then the next day, I posted a blog on this new thing I have called DeMuro's.blogspot.com. Posted a huge preview about the Barclays ATP World Tour Finals, and I tweeted that to Brad Gilbert, and not only did he read it, but he tweeted me back saying good read. So it was really awesome to hear that too. So moving on to the World Tour Finals themselves, how they work, they're in like round robin. There's Group A and Group B. Group A consists of Novak Djokovic, who end the world at number one, end the year at number one. Joe Wilfried Tsonga, Andy Murray, and Tomas Berdych. Now in Group A, the first match that happened between Djokovic and Tsonga, Djokovic won 7-6, 6-3. Then Murray beat Tomas Berdych 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Then Djokovic actually played earlier today. He won 4-6, 6-3, 7-5. So now Djokovic is 2-0 in Group A, and Murray is 1-1. So hopefully Murray maybe can bounce back. So I picked Murray to get to the finals against her. There's still time, so we'll see what happens with that. In Group B, Roger Federer just completely dismantled Janko Tipsarevic, who made it here for the first time since Nadal is out, and Tipsarevic actually did qualify. So Federer beat Tipsarevic 6-3, 6-1, and then David Ferrer, who beat Juan Martín del Potro 6-3, 3-6, 6-4. I thought Ferrer would only win one match, and I thought it was going to be against Tipsarevic. So kudos to Ferrer. Ferrer is fighting his heart out now. He's 30 years of age, playing the best tennis of his career. I think he's playing phenomenal. So again, how these work are round robin stuff. So the top two from each group are going to play in the semifinals. So I still think Murray's going to get to the finals. He's going to play Djokovic, and I think Ferrer might get there. Ferrer's playing very well. I'm surprised, and he's going to play Federer. But like I said in the blog, I think Federer's going to ultimately win this thing. When the lights are on, Federer plays so well. He's won these last two in a row. I think he's going to win 3 in a row. So.
Good coverage there, and from him we go to Postmaster Jones for our weekly NASCAR update.
Actually, we're going to go to Big B.
For a NASCAR update?
For a NASCAR update.
Uh-oh. We're going right, then we're going left. So, Postmaster.
Yes, sir.
Winning 5 championships is a pretty big feat, wouldn't you say?
I'd say you're up there pretty high with some pretty...
Right. Pretty good company.
Yeah, I would think 6 might be a little bit better.
Well, yeah, but up until about a couple weeks ago, you had this guy named Brad Keselowski. Been talking about him for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's the points leader. But not so fast, my friend. Have you forgotten about Jimmy Johnson?
I did.
I have.
Who's that?
He's won 5 sprint cups. He's on the way to winning 6. Jimmy
guy.
Johnson just took the lead from Keselowski. Has a 7-point lead on Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson coming out of nowhere saying, "Hey, guess what? I won 5 of these things, and I'm not going away."
That was a whale of a finish on Sunday. It was coming down to the wire. 2 restarts at the very last. Brad Keselowski had the lead in both of them. The first restart, he held them off. The second one, he couldn't quite hold them off. Jimmy Johnson took the lead and pulled away. He now has a 7-point lead over Brad Keselowski. Phoenix and Homestead are left on the schedule.
Any night races?
No more night races. It's all Sunday afternoon. Phoenix is a 1-mile fast oval, and Homestead is a 1.5-mile fast oval. So closing in. Also, a little side note: the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Its championship battle is down to the very end with James Buescher, Ty Dillon, Timothy Peters. And on the nationwide side, Elliott Sadler and Ricky Stenhouse are 1 point apart. So good stuff there in all 3 major NASCAR divisions. A little NHL update. I was just checking on this as we were going through some stuff because the NHL and the NHLPA have really hunkered down and clamped down these last 2 days. They've really locked themselves down. And for the second straight day, they've been in like 10 hours straight of meetings. It looks like they're finally trying to get this ironed out. Here's hoping they can get this done. All of the November games have been canceled, but they could get the December games going.
Well, I said the Winter Classic's canceled as well.
Right.
Here's the thing I don't understand. When the owners offer the players 50-50, I don't see what else there is to discuss.
Well, you gotta.
I don't. From a business standpoint,
but you gotta remember, me and Postmaster are in agreement that Gary Bettman's an idiot.
Well, it's not just that. He may well be an idiot.
Well, he is.
That fact is moot, though. In my point, when an owner offers you as a player a 50-50 cut, you take that deal. There is no further discussion, because I'm sorry, but the players should never make more money than the owners, because the owners are retaining those rights to the teams and the players themselves. And when you have players making more than owners, there's a breakdown there. There's a problem.
Right.
So, because then you think players, it's the problem that the NBA has right now. Yeah. It's why every other team in the league, except for the Celtics, are a decently coached team. Yeah. Because the Celtics all respect Doc Rivers. Yeah. Whereas LeBron, he could care less about his coach because he makes a lot more money than his coach.
Yeah, he's LeBron.
So, but I mean, it's one of those things that I definitely think that there's a breakdown here. Yeah. To me, this is just players being greedy. I can't believe the owners even offered him 50%, to be honest with you.
Actually, the players aren't being greedy. The owners are trying to take a big chunk of money away from the players.
They can't be. They just offered him 50%.
No, but in the last agreement, the players got like 56, 59%. They're taking a big cut. They're wanting to take a huge
56. Cut. So the players in hockey, I think you may have to overcheck.
No, I don't have to overcheck it. The players in hockey make upwards.
They make more money than the owners.
Yes.
I will check that, but we're running up against a break. But
when we get back, we'll wrap up headlines and delve into NFL coverage. Woo-hoo! Right after this, here on Triple Threat Talk.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life, nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life, fresh goes better. Mentos fresh, fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. What?
This is not Jerry Springer. Don't use some voiceover that you have no idea who you're supposed to be.
I'm not trying to be anybody.
Stop it!
This is Big B, Brandon DeMiro. This is Gary the Dr. Lockhart, and I am Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers. And before the break, we were just wrapping up NHL lockout coverage. Now moving on to a little college football.
So, this week, the University of Kentucky fell to Vanderbilt 40-0. The very next day, on a day where people usually don't work on Sundays in college football, the administration of Kentucky did, and they wished Joker Phillips best of luck in his future endeavors. However, they have allowed Mr. Phillips to finish his last 2 games coaching, which I really don't see what it matters.
My sentiment on that? Whoop de deal.
Yeah, well, big deal here.
I'll say something real quick, okay? Kentucky loses 40-0 to Vanderbilt.
40-0.
Guess what? The year before, they lost 38-8. That's a combined total of 78-8. Wake up!
Robert Ryan is one of the names that people are talking about.
Really, Rob Ryan?
He looked a lot less homeless.
Really?
On Sunday Night Football, or Monday Night Football, he looked a lot less homeless.
He shaved a little bit.
He shaved a little bit. But the rumor and the speculation was that he had already gone to Lexington that day to interview for the position. Mm-hmm. It's just a rumor, has not been confirmed by anybody. But usually Robert Ryan looks like he's homeless.
Right. So, but I'll say this about Joker Phillips. We said this before on the show weeks ago. Once lost to WK, his papers were already being filed. So, and we said this before. It's a shame. I don't know who's going to want that job because we said they don't put enough money.
They are talking about Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes.
Yeah, but about coach.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care who coaches. It doesn't matter. I don't care if Vince Lombardi.
They do have to put more money.
Well, I'm saying I don't care if they brought Vince Lombardi back from the dead. They're still not going to do any good because they don't put enough money into that system.
Yeah, they don't. Need to put some money.
Kentucky is a basketball school. They obviously are the best team in college basketball, bar none. They won the championship last year, and they have the best coach in college basketball, John Calipari. But they don't care about football. That's been evident for years. And this is the worst year. They might only win 1 game, maybe 2 at best.
This would be the worst year in college for football that's happened. But from bad football, we go to good football, or great football, I should say. LSU and Alabama.
What a game.
21-17. A.J. McCarron shredded LSU in 2-minute drill and just destroyed their hopes and their dreams, scoring a touchdown at the last second to take the 21-17 lead. When asked, A.J. McCarron was interviewed the very next day, he said, they asked him, you look like a different quarterback. And he said, Coach Saban makes us run 2-minute drills each day in practice, and that is a fact. They've done that not just this year, but they've done that every year. Nick Saban has been the head coach.
It's funny they use that term, their hopes and dreams, whatever. LSU, actually, the coach before that, Les Miles, said about the, someone asked him about the game of Alabama the next week, and they said, LSU, this is where he blew his dreams and hopes come to die. Well, they tried to end Alabama's hopes and dreams of winning a national championship. They didn't get the job done.
Yeah, A.J. McCarron just ran a phenomenal 2-minute drive.
Again, I don't know how you can't pick Alabama in the title game now. They got past the biggest hurdle they were going to get. So.
Yeah, and the other thing is, the other day on ESPN First Take, and I want to talk about this a little bit, because, we dog, and you know me, I believe in equal fairness for, even though I'm a UK fan, we're dogging Kentucky, saying, they were horrible. They're absolutely atrocious this year. So I want to rejoin a conversation that was on ESPN First Take the other day, and every single person agreed that U of L should not be the number 9 ranked team in the nation.
No, they should not.
And one of the biggest pieces of evidence that they ran on this was the fact that they've played 10 teams, 8 of which have a losing record. And not just by 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, by multiple.
By like 2 or 3, 4 games. Yeah. And they do have Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a winning record. I mean, and then with their game coming up against Syracuse has a losing record as well. So that will be 9 teams that they played. Should a team be number 9?
No. I'll say this much. Louisville did exactly what they were supposed to do against Temple. That's a game you're supposed to beat them 45-7. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. When they're 17-17, you're like, oh god, here we go again. Cardiac cards. They're going to win at the end by like 3 points. They won 45-17 is what they're supposed to do against a team like Temple. But they're number 9 for no reason. They haven't played anybody, and to my recollection, Louisville's not played anybody that is ranked at all. They're going to play Rutgers. I don't think Rutgers is ranked anymore. They fell out of the top 25 when they lost.
Again.
They are again? Yeah. Okay. Oh, Toledo lost, right? So they're back again. But again, Rutgers isn't that great. They're not as good as they used to be. So I don't get why they're number 9 in the country. Well, I mean, top 25, you're undefeated. Yeah, you deserve to be in there. But number 9.
That's why you just answered your own question.
What?
Because they were preseason. They were preseason top 25, and they're one of the few undefeated teams left.
They shouldn't be.
But the BCS is predicated on who
Let me
play.
counter that point. Last year, the University of Houston was undefeated the entire year, and they didn't squeak past 23rd.
Look at the conference they played.
Look at the conference that U of L played.
It doesn't matter. They're an automatic qualifying conference.
Not this year. Or
Yes,
not next year. I mean, this year, not next year.
That's why I said that's why.
They're losing precedence.
Look at Boise State a few years ago. They were undefeated, and then they got eventually tested, and then they got killed.
Right,
so
but they're in a weak conference. Way weaker than the Big East.
I'm just saying.
The WAC, people have actually thought this was the exact way that this conversation on First Take went, so we're thinking like these people, and you guys didn't even see it, so that's good. They were saying that in the WAC conference, the WAC and the Big East are actually equal powered. The only difference is, for some reason, the WAC didn't have that automatic qualifier, and they make more money in general sales because all out West has is football, so that's why. But they make more money in general sales than the Big East. So to say that the WAC and the Big East are separated by miles apart is just a false statement. Right. The fact of the matter is, for some reason, when the Big East had West Virginia and had these other teams that broke out this year, then yes, I see that. But the minute they lost West Virginia, they should have lost their automatic bowl qualifier. They're going to lose it for the last year of the BCS, and then after the BCS, of course, we go to the playoff in 2 years, which I think is going to be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things that, do you agree that they should be the number 9 team in the nation? Because I can't find anybody that really can. If you can, that's great. No one's going to... Your opinion is your own. But at least try to justify it with something other than the Big East is a power conference in football, because they clearly are not.
I'm going by their automatic qualifier. I'm not arguing 9-0. I'm not arguing their rank. I'm saying the reason why they are where they are is because they started preseason top 25 and they haven't lost a game. And the teams that were ranked in front of them have.
Right.
So when a team loses, they drop.
They drop.
Yeah, and that's how it happens.
Yeah, that is how it happens. Louisville is.
And that's why they are where they're at. It has nothing to do with the conference they play or nothing.
But the teams they've played, minus Temple, but the teams they've played teams that aren't that good, and they almost lose.
That's why the BCS is crap.
Oh no, I'm not disputing that.
I think that's what it boils down to.
Because Alabama is ranked 1 in the beginning, and they're going to stay there. They're never as long.
LSU was their last test.
LSU was really their toughest test all year.
Yeah. Here's a perfect example of why the BCS is broken. We know that anyway. Louisville plays a team close. They play North Carolina, perfect example, right?
North Carolina is probably the best team they've played all year.
Well, yeah. But they almost lost and they dropped a spot, deservedly so. Same thing with Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame should have dropped. They should have lost that game. But they should have lost that game. Notre Dame should have lost the game. Pittsburgh blew an easy field goal and they lost. Notre Dame got lucky.
Plus they got a couple calls.
Well, yeah. But like I said, Notre Dame got lucky. Yeah. And then they dropped a spot. So they still have a chance for a national championship, but they got lucky. So Louisville, number 9 is just way too high for a team that hasn't played anybody that decent.
I think there's a couple positive aspects we can take away from U of L. Teddy Bridgewater, phenomenal work.
Heisman candidate.
Yeah, he should be. He really is now.
The guys on ESPN put him in number 5.
Yeah, he's number 5.
He's not going to win, like I said, because he goes,
he may get a call to go to New York.
He'll be in New York.
He'll be there, but he won't win.
No. Teddy Bridgewater playing phenomenal football.
He can win it next year.
The thing that really bothers me about this team, though, is not so much the ranking or anything like that. The thing that really bothers me about this team is their defense.
No, it's awful.
Their defense, people want to say this is a good defense, and frankly, I don't see it. When you have a team like Temple that scores 17 up on you, and you are struggling against Temple's offense, it doesn't really.
Bridgewater can only do so much.
But this is all extra anyway. They weren't expecting to be undefeated this point of the year anyway. They weren't expecting to be this good. No. They weren't. Not this year. Next year was the year that
they were. I heard several people on our local affiliate, Lachlan McLean and Jason Anderson, both said that they would not be surprised if U of L went undefeated this year. And I think
they should now.
Yeah, no, I mean even at the beginning of the year, I think the majority of them said if any of them if they got beat by anybody, it was going to be North Carolina, and most people predicted U of L at that time to go through that. So, I mean, I think that this is this a good U of L team? Yes. Are they number 9? No. But I do think Teddy Bridgewater is just. To take anything away from that young man would just be a silly statement. I'm not even going to do it because
it'd be criminal.
Yeah, he is an amazing quarterback, and I think for him to just now be in the Heisman candidate hunt is just out of his mind. I mean, that's ludicrous. Yeah. He should have been there a while ago. And I've said the same thing about Randall Cobb when he played at Kentucky.
He's playing good ball.
So I mean, just ridiculous. So in the few minutes before break, we're going to switch into some NFL action. NFL. You sound like you're drunk when you do that.
It's like Pat Summerall.
Warner, back to throw.
Thanks, John.
Back to you.
Anyway.
So, Big B.
Yes.
It's a very emotional happening this week in the world of NFL.
Yes.
Cue the video, please, sir.
Absolutely.
I mentioned before the game that you guys were living in a vision, and you weren't living in circumstances. Because you know where they had us in the beginning, every last one of them. But you refused to live in circumstances, and you decided consciously, as a team and as a family, to live in a vision.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you bring things home like you brought home today.
Amen.
That's why you're already champions and well on your way. I got circumstances. You guys understand it. I understand it. It's already beat.
Amen. Yes, sir.
It's already beat. My vision that I'm living, see 2 more daughters get married, dance at their weddings, and then hoist that Lombardi several times. Several times we're going to hoist that baby. I'm dancing at 2 more weddings, and we're hoisting that trophy together, man. Congratulations. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Check on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
I don't know how you can't root for them now.
How do you not well up in tear after hearing something like that?
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, unless the Colts are facing your team or they affect the team you're playing, you cannot not root for the Colts now. That's one of the best stories in all the NFL. I hope they go to the playoffs. I really do.
That was outstanding.
And they're right there where they need to be. They're 5-3. They're right in the wild card hunt.
Yeah. They're in the wild card.
They play in a really crappy division other than Houston. So I think Indy has a really good shot of making the wild card.
Larry Fitzgerald said it brought tears to his eyes.
How could it not?
I mean, yeah, and
that was.
And you know what? That was one of the better games all day.
He said, and I quote, I still want to dance at 2 weddings.
2 weddings. He's going to. And
I'm going to hoist the Lombardi, several. And that was amazing. For him to sit there and say that was like Jimmy V.S. right there.
You know what? Right now, I can say that, not this year, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, obviously. I think they can get to the playoffs the way they're playing. But they got a quarterback that franchise has been looking for since Peyton Manning. And I told you, it is very eerie. The Broncos and the Colts are both 5-3. The Broncos now have Peyton Manning, which was on the Colts. Peyton Manning, he has more touchdowns than Andrew Luck, obviously. But up to this point, he's passed for 2,404 yards. Andrew Luck has passed for 2,404 yards. So obviously, yards-wise and the record-wise, the Colts are missing Peyton Manning in terms of that.
But the Broncos have played the tougher schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Colts played the Jags twice.
But yeah, I mean, very emotional. But that game was amazing. Andrew Luck, I don't know. How do you go in there? And this is why I think that the difference between RG3 and Andrew Luck, and the fact that RG3 tries to mainly rely on himself. He really only has Santana Moss on that team. So it's
they got Chris Cooley now. And don't dispute Alfred Morris. He is a beast.
Well, Alfred Morris, but see, they're all limited though, because you know the capability. The Triple Threat Talk hotline, clearly somebody wants to call and tell us something. But when you talk about RG3 and the team of the Washington Redskins, I don't think that fails in comparison, because what you have is two different styles of quarterback. Andrew Luck will get it done through the air and on the ground, and so can RG3. But Andrew Luck realizes that he has a team around him, and I don't think RG3 has realized that yet. Well, and that, to me, is the difference.
I'll say this about the Redskins. Their defense is lackluster. And the thing is, here's the thing. When the Redskins played Pittsburgh, they had 9 drop passes. That's not his fault. That's not RG3.
That's not his fault.
That's not his fault. The defense needs to really step things up. They play the NFC East, so they got to play the Giants again. In Washington, they got to play the Cowboys. So it's going to be tougher for the schedule down the road. But I like RG3. I think he's going to be good for years to come. But Andrew Luck is just playing some phenomenal ball in Indianapolis. I really like where this team is going.
Yeah, for sure.
Big B, there was a robbery in New York, almost.
Well, we're getting close to the break, so we're going to talk about that robbery when we come back here on
Almost robbery
on Triple Threat Talk when we come back.
Fast forward, rewind. Fast forward, rewind. That's called a juke.
I know your eyes are closed, but really you should look at this.
Fast forward, rewind. Right there. Wait, let me slow it down. Ooh, I missed the tackle. Here, it almost looks better from back here.
That is convincing. You're crying.
Madden NFL 13, rated E for everyone. A new look, a new feel, a new way to Madden forever. EA Sports, it's in the game.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. We were deep into NFL coverage. And before the break, we were talking about the almost robbery that it was. Big B had some unfamiliar, let's just say, brought back some bad memories watching this game.
I don't hate.
Super Bowl 40, Bill Levy is the referee with the Seahawks-Steelers game. There was a few questionable calls that went... Let me finish. A few questionable calls that went to the Steelers' way that probably affected the outcome.
Probably.
So this week, all the bad and tragedy that happened in New York and New Jersey. The Steelers have to fly in the morning of the game. They actually had to make an NFL rule exception because the rule is you have to be in the town you're playing in the night before by a certain time.
And I'll say this much. I lived in Jersey for 13 years. They flew into Newark Airport. They ain't no picnic.
So they fly in the morning of, they go to the game, and you get stuff like this.
I don't hate many people in this world. I don't. But Bill Levy gets on my nerves. And here's the thing, okay? When I saw this game, I didn't even need to see a play. I knew from Super Bowl 40 that he was a horrible official. When I saw that game, and I could not believe what I was witnessing, and the complete utter destruction of that Super Bowl, worst officiating Super Bowl in NFL history, by far. And the fact that everyone was on the same page, Mike Dick was on the same page, a lot of people were on the same page, saying that was the worst officiating game of the day. It was. And I said, this is Bill Levy. This is how he officiates. Like this. And here's the thing. They explained that, because the ball was coming out of his hand, so it's a fumble. Now his arm was going forward. I don't understand how you can call that.
I think what happened.
What I was going to say, first of all, how you can't call that incomplete pass? That's whatever. How do you not call that clipping penalty at the end zone?
The clipping penalty I agree with. I think the thing with the pass was predicated on the fact that the ball was knocked loose back. And it was. There is no disputing this. The ball wobbled on the back end of the throw. That is a fact.
Okay. But
the ball wobbled. But I can also, you can mask that. I mean, I think what happened was, and kudos to Roethlisberger for trying to do it. But at the point where you lose possession, you can no longer throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what happens. To me, I agree with this call. I think that me and like a handful of others out there agree with this call, and it's not just because it's against the Steelers. I did
something Sunday I've never done in my life.
What's that?
I rooted for the Steelers to get a touchdown after that play.
But the fact of the matter is, when you go back, you had the ball back there, and it's knocked loose right there. To me, Roethlisberger loses possession of the ball.
But it looked like to me,
he no longer has full possession.
It looked like to me, he had enough possession of that football when his arm was going forward that it's an incomplete pass.
Okay, and everybody and anybody said it was an incomplete pass.
Are you going to argue with the great Mike Ditka who said that was an incomplete pass? How dare you have the disrespect to disrespect Mike Ditka like that?
Check this out, all right? So, look, the bottle's out of my hands, all right? Well, I'm going to try to do something here, all right? Okay. So, knock the ball.
Scientific
evidence. Try to knock the ball. Like that, okay? I don't have possession of the bottle, but I don't. So, I mean, he does that. I lose possession of the bottle, and then I have to throw it. It's wobbling. I don't have a trajectory plan.
It doesn't matter. You still technically, it's an incomplete pass.
If you're going to call that a fumble, what about the tuck roll?
Yes, that's
the tuck roll is a whole nother thing.
Well, I'm just saying.
But to me, it's not as bad of a call. I definitely see both points. It's not one of those things where I think I'm right.
You see both sides of the coin.
I see both sides of the coin, and to me, it was just one of those tough calls. And I think it was just predicated on the possession thing that I was just talking about. And if you look at it solely as a possession thing, it is the right call. But there were other factors, and that's why I say I can easily see both ends of the coin.
Let's be clear. Bill Levy has made so many criminal calls, he belongs in jail. He belongs locked behind bars.
That's fine.
Yes, that is. So the NFC power rankings are out. The Atlanta Falcons are number 1 off their impressive 19-13 defensive outing.
Right.
The offense certainly wasn't that great, but the defense definitely. The Cowboys cannot win a game.
Here's the thing. I have a clip. Also, I have another clip for this game. Show this clip right here. You see Tony Romo. This is the beginning of the game. Romo has a clear lane. He can run in the end zone. He just throws it over his head.
That was the first thing that I noticed about this. When this happened, he could have waltzed into the end zone.
He could have scored.
No point.
You know, and
I don't understand that. He's just bad.
And the Cowboys. They said it before, and I agree. The Cowboys are an accident. The Cowboys are like that high school girl you go after. They just break your heart. You try so hard to get them to do things that you want, but they just break your heart.
Whoa! What are you talking?
Get your mind out of the gun. It's just like you try so hard to get them to like you, and you get so hard to get them to accept you, and the Cowboys just continue to break your hearts. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's the one thing Tony Romo does right, though. The 2-minute drill.
He threw interceptions either.
2-minute drill. You can say what you want, but when they scored the touchdown after Atlanta did in under 2 minutes, that was impressive.
Yeah, but again, the play calling was questionable at best because they didn't really have a chance to win that game at the end because the pass they threw at the end to Felix Jones was obviously way too short in the end zone. He wasn't going to score anyway.
Some of these things,
Dallas has issues with controlling the clock. That's obviously evident.
Some of these things definitely need to be looked at. Like, for example, Philadelphia is still choosing to use Michael Vick as a passer. When clearly LaShawn McCoy is the future of that team. Clearly.
But he's not a quarterback, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's a running back. They're a running team.
If they give him 25 to 30 carries, that team would win.
They're going to win. And the other thing is, I think to win, Dallas should play more no huddle because Tony Romo can do well in no huddle.
Well, again, their running back DeMarco Murray's out, and he's very good.
Exactly, and they need to go to no huddle.
On the other side of the coin in that game, I don't buy this Falcons team. I don't.
And I said that.
They're 8-0.
Who are they playing?
They played the Broncos, and they beat a team of the Redskins without RG3.
Yeah,
so again. They're probably, like, I agree. Kudos to you in the football you said they would win the NFC South. Kudos to you. But you know what that means to me? Absolutely nothing. So when they get to the playoffs, I'm going to steal a line from you here. When they get to the playoffs, they're going to fold like an Italian beach chair. That's what they do. Last year, the Falcons weren't as good, but they made the playoffs. They played the Giants in the absolute worst game I've ever seen in my life. They did absolutely nothing.
Right.
I disagree that they're going to fold. I think they're going to put up a fight for probably the first half, and then I'm thinking it's going to be the 49ers.
It depends who they draw. If they draw the Niners,
if
no.
they draw the Niners, there's no chance.
That's like I'm saying. Before we still have a little bit of time here. Who can the Falcons beat? Can they beat the Giants?
No. I think they could beat.
Well, let me finish going over the power rankings in the NFC and the UK.
Okay.
So the Falcons are number 1 in the NFC. Yeah. The Chicago Bears are number 2.
They can't beat Chicago.
The 49ers are number 3.
49ers.
The Giants are number 4, even though they lost to the Steelers.
I think they could beat the Giants.
I think the Giants defense.
The Seattle Seahawks are number 5, and the Green Bay Packers are number 6.
I think they could beat Green Bay. I think they could beat the Saints.
I think they could beat Seattle.
Where? In Atlanta?
I don't think they could beat Seattle.
I think they could beat Seattle in Atlanta.
In Atlanta at home, forget about it.
If it's Atlanta, well, the thing is, and I know you're not going to want to hear this, but the Niners are going to win the West.
Well, I know that.
So if the Seattle gets in, it's going to be as a wild card, and they're going to play at Atlanta.
And I told him, I said, as long as Seattle wins every home game, they'll finish 9-7 there.
Not necessarily. They don't necessarily play Atlanta.
Not necessarily.
I'm just saying, in the event that they draw, I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying if they draw, they will definitely play.
And my money would not be on Seattle because
Atlanta will have a bye, so they'll play the third.
No, I don't think Atlanta is going to get the bye, but
I think Chicago gets the bye.
I think Chicago's better than Atlanta. I think Chicago and San Francisco are going to get the bye.
I think Chicago's better than
Atlanta. And I think basically because the toughest part of this Atlanta Falcons schedule is ahead of them.
Yeah.
And they're already down. Their two best defensive people, Weatherspoon and Nicholas, cannot stay healthy. Weatherspoon is questionable for this week, and Nicholas has been questionable every game, but he's managed to play all but one of those games that he's been questionable. Yeah. Their two deep cornerbacks are going. When they play some of these high-powered throwing offenses in the NFC, they're going to be in some trouble. They might even be in trouble if they play. I can't remember if they played the Saints or not. I think they
this week, actually.
They played. I think they're going to be in some trouble this weekend against the Saints.
I think Matt Ryan is having an MVP type season. I'm not discounting Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's very good. But I don't think the Falcons can beat the Giants defense. I don't think they can beat the 49ers defense. I don't think they can beat the Bears defense. So against those three, I don't see Atlanta doing anything that's spectacular this year. And remember, I know this is like, all numbers, whatever. Remember, the Cowboys were supposed to win that game if the Falcons won the Super Bowl. That's how the numbers worked out. The Cowboys didn't win that game. So,
well, that wraps up going over Week 9. Now on to Week 10.
Woohoo!
Pick'ems.
And again, if you're keeping score at home, bye weeks this week are the Cardinals, the Browns, the Packers, and the Redskins.
Last week, I led the crew with a 12-2 record. You guys were right on my doorstep, 11-3. So, as a whole, we absolutely rocked it. We went a combined 34-8.
Pretty good.
That's pretty decent.
As a panel.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
I'd say that's decent. I think we can do better.
Yeah.
So Thursday night football.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
This will actually be. I'm actually looking forward to this now because of what happened.
Oh, I thought you meant
The Indianapolis
Yeah.
Colts
Right.
travel to Jacksonville.
Why not?
Jacksonville.
To take on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I like the Colts in this one.
Jaguars don't have Maurice Jones-Drew. It doesn't matter. They could have Fred Taylor. I picked the Colts.
I picked the Colts. The San Diego Chargers travel cross country to sunny Florida to take on Josh Freeman and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Taking the Bucks.
Doug Martin, rookie of the year in my opinion. I take the Bucks.
I take the Bucks as
That's something we need to talk about. We need to take a break from Pick'ems real quick. Doug Martin ran out of his mind.
Last two games, Minnesota and Oakland.
Yeah, I don't believe that we missed. I can't believe we missed that.
Well, you got
4 running touchdowns, over 240 yards ran against the Raiders, and the Raiders were still in it until the very end.
Until Doug Martin said no.
Until Doug Martin just took that in. The Raiders were still in it because Carson Palmer, with the exception of that last drive, had it together. And that's what Carson Palmer can do.
Yeah. And I'll say this about the Bucks. If they'll go as far as he takes them. They can make the playoffs. If they'll be a wild card because the Falcons win that division. But they'll go as far as
long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, as long as he'll go as far as he takes them. And if Locke continues to play the way he's playing, he'll win Rookie of the Year. But if he slips a little bit, Martin's right in that conversation.
I'm not sure if Luck or RG3 would win our Rookie of the Year at this point.
Well, I think if Luck plays the way he's playing, he's going to win.
But anyways, getting back to picks.
Anyway, so.
The ever popular Triple Threat Talk Toilet Bowl game of the week.
Dolphins are decent.
It's still a toilet. If you scan the rest of the games, it's definitely the toilet bowl game of the week.
No.
The Tennessee Titans go on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins.
Just because they're at home, I'm picking the Dolphins.
Dolphins lost a heartbreaker last week. It was a very close game. I thought Tannehill played well. I thought Bush played really good. The Dolphins looked really strong last week, but I like the Dolphins. Titans looked awful last week. Absolutely awful.
The Buffalo Bills.
Who are you picking?
Oh, the Dolphins. Sorry, Dolphins.
Come on, fella.
The Buffalo Bills go on the road to take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
Last time they played was like 52-28, complete utter destruction, and that was at Buffalo. I picked New England.
I picked New England as well. The Oakland Raiders go on the road to the Baltimore Ravens.
Just because it's in Maryland, I'm picking the Ravens.
You picked against the Ravens last week.
I did.
That was a big mistake on your part.
Well, it turned out it was a lot closer than what we thought.
5 field goals. That's all they could score. No touchdowns. I like the Ravens.
I picked the Ravens as well. The Denver Broncos.
Oh, my God.
On the road to take on Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers.
It doesn't matter. The Broncos.
They're playing in Carolina. If you're playing in Carolina, if you're playing in Denver, if you're playing on the moon, if you're playing in Asia, Australia, I picked the Broncos.
I picked the Broncos. And with that, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will wrap up Pick'ems and get into wrestling right after this.
Got a lot of apologies to make. Nothing's been the same since New York. You experience things, and then they're over. I can't sleep. And when I do, I have nightmares. Honestly, there's 100 people who want to kill me. I hope I can protect the one thing I can't live without.
Ladies, children, sheep. Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am Gary the Dr. Locker, joined by my esteemed colleagues, Big B, Brandon Amiro, and Postmaster Jones, Mr. Jimmy Biggers.
He's only esteemed when Cody Rhodes is around.
Oh! Zing! Burn on you, sir. Burn on you. All right. We were knee-deep in pick'ems, and we're going to
New York Giants going the road to the reeling, who've lost 4 straight Cincinnati Bengals.
You know what? Part of me wants to. This is going to be a great game. I think the Bengals could definitely win this, but will they is the question. The Giants have played a lot better on the road than they have at home. I'm going to go with the Giants.
Yeah, that was going to be my argument. The Giants don't play well at home, but they're on the road. I like the Giants.
I like the Giants as well.
Oh man, we're picking the same games here.
The Detroit Lions go on the road to Minnesota, so not far. Minnesota Vikings.
Christian Ponder's had 2 bad games. I look for him to get it together in a divisional matchup where they can definitely get the ball rolling, get some momentum to take one last push to try to win this division, and it is still possible. I mean that you combine that and the fact that outside of Mikael LaSure, the Detroit Lions really wouldn't have anybody. They've got Matt Stafford, but I'm gonna take, and they got Calvin Johnson. But as you've alluded to,
not doing much.
I'm going with the Vikings.
I think the Vikings are kind of slipping a little bit. They lost the last 2 games. They got run over by Doug Martin and run over by Marshall Lynch and Russell Wilson up in Seattle. I think the Lions are playing a lot better football. I'm gonna pick the upset here. I'm gonna pick the Lions.
I'm going to agree with Big B. I'm taking the Lions as well. I don't know if I'd call it an upset, but I'd say the Lions.
I wouldn't call it an upset.
The Atlanta Falcons go on the road to Drew Brees, who said, "We're not done. We're not done."
Guess what? You're done.
Saints.
You're done.
I don't think they are done. This defense is really not going. This Saints defense is really not going to challenge this Falcons offense. However, in a shootout, I'm always going to go with Drew Brees over just about any other quarterback in the league.
Except Peyton Manning.
Except Peyton Manning.
Which you didn't do.
And I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the Saints, especially since it's at home.
Like you said last week, the Falcons are going to lose, but not this week. They proved to 9-0. I like the Falcons.
I like the Falcons as well. The New York Jets fly all the way across country. It wouldn't matter. They're taking on Russell Wilson, Skittles, and the rest of the crew, and the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm going with the Seahawks.
If they were playing on the road, I might say, because Seattle doesn't really play that well on the road, but they're at home, and the Jets don't know what to do. I don't know if they're going to use Tim Tebow or Mark Sanchez. We may even see Rex Ryan on the field, because they're clueless.
Oh my God.
I pick Seattle.
Pick Seattle, and if Rex Ryan was on the field, they would be thinking there's an earthquake. Jeez, cracker. The Dallas Cowboys
continue to break your heart.
Yep, they go on the road to take on a total shamble of a mess, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, but here's the question: who's more in shambles?
I would think the Eagles would be.
I would tend to agree with you.
The only reason why I say that is because the Cowboys.
The Cowboys have
they're competitive.
Yeah, they're competitive.
I'll say this: in that game last week against the Saints, it's like the Eagles didn't even want to be there. That's how it felt to me.
I'm gonna pick the Cowboys.
I just don't get what's with the Eagles team. They don't seem like they're in it. And I pick the Cowboys. At least they're competitive.
I pick the Cowboys as well. The St. Louis Rams go on the road, coming off a bye week, to take on the San Francisco 49ers.
They got their rest, and guess what? They're going to need it because they're going to be beat down.
I don't know if they were on a bye week. I was saying...
Oh, the 49ers.
The 49ers. Actually, the Rams were on a bye week.
The Rams were on a bye week.
So they're both all coming off a bye week.
49ers.
You're wanting to pick the upset, dude.
Really?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Really?
I need games. I'm picking the Rams. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I need to get some ground here.
If he's wrong, he's wrong, so he'll stay wrong. I picked the 49ers.
This next game is by far the game of the week. Probably the game of the season.
I wouldn't say game of the season.
Right now.
I'll give you game of the week.
I'll give you game of the week.
The Houston Texans on the road against the vaunted Chicago Bears defense and Jay Cutler.
I'm picking the Bears because this defense is. I think they've improved to the number one defense in the league. They've scored 5 points. They've scored 5 touchdowns. Over the last 4 weeks, which is just incredible. Yeah. I'm picking the Bears.
Last week was complete utter destruction that the Bears put on the Titans, scoring 51 points. The Bears are at home. It's going to be a fantastic game. I like the Bears.
I think the Bears as well. And now Monday Night Football, for all it's worth.
It's worth about $1.25.
Really? This is Monday Night Football?
Really? Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Well, Raw's on, by the way.
WWE actually might beat them this week.
I would think so.
No, because the reason why is because the Steelers are they have teams all over America.
Are WWE losing to Bad Girls Club on Oxygen?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
Never.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
They're so good. They're going to win the AFC West.
And everybody
to the year. Oh my God,
it's gonna be the best team.
Matt Cass is going to be MVP and Jamal Charles is going for 2,000 yards. What are you thinking about?
Stop it. Even Terry picked him.
Stop it. All of you, just stop it.
Come on.
The Kansas City Chiefs go on the road to Heinz Field.
Hey, I'd like to point out that Terry Bodie himself called all 3 of us green behind the ears, white behind the ears, when we all 3 collectively said the Chiefs were going to be bad.
Bad. Real bad.
Awful. Horrible. Steelers.
You ready?
I'm going to go ahead and pick Savior, and I pick the Steelers in a wallop. It won't even be close. This might be 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right. I said before the Chiefs aren't very good. They're not. They're playing in Heinz Field. The Steelers could have Ben Roethlisberger, Terry Bradshaw back there, bring in Joe Perry himself. The Steelers are going to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are awful. Awful.
So are you picking the Steelers?
Yes! The Chiefs are awful. Alabama can beat them.
You're probably right. If there was a professional
they can put in
team.
Matt Castle, Brady Quinn, Joe Montana.
The Steelers win in a wallop.
Monday Night Football more than Monday Night Snooze Fest.
Like Monday Night Slaughter Ball.
That's football coverage
That's
for the week.
That's NFL coverage for the week.
The Chiefs.
My sweet cherry pie. Big B.
Yes.
A little wrestling coverage.
Wrestling.
OVWs Saturday Night Special.
Saturday Night Special was this past Saturday. The main event was Rob Terry took on Crimson for the OVW title, and Rob Terry won!
Woo! New champ!
By disqualification.
That weasel. Weasel
Weasel his way out of it.
How dare he?
Another match that was featured was Team Gut Check, consisting of Alex Silva and Sam Shaw. They picked up their match win. Jesse and Rudy defended their title successfully against
Dylan Bostic and Eddie Diamond,
with Timmy Danger as their manager.
Heidi Lovelace defended her title against Josette Bynum and Miss Taylor Hendricks, and
with Taryn Terrell, also known as Tiffany from WWE, was the referee for that match.
Interesting. Anyway, Heidi Lovelace did pick up the win there. Some other matches of note. James Moose Thomas defeated Ace Hawkins. You had a triple threat corners match. I think it was a jobber match, unless Elvis Pridemore's team picked up the win there.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much covers.
That's pretty much it. Also, I think Doug Williams was to fight Johnny Spade.
Yes.
But that didn't happen. And actually, a friend of the show, Joe Rosa, actually came out and started attacking him, but Spade got the better of him and kicked Del Barrio and Rosa in the face. So, awesome.
So that was the Saturday Night Special. Interesting stuff from OVW, as always. That is, we'd also like to thank our good friends at OVW, Frank Miller, all the boys and girls there, Terry Bodie, Cheryl Conley, everybody and anybody with OVW. You can check out OVW on www.ovwrestling.com Or on Thursdays, you can check out their episodes on Blip TV.
And I'll say something to credit them. Kudos to them for keeping everybody informed. Last week I was reading their posts on Twitter and Facebook about, because they post their show on Blip.tv, and Blip's headquarters in New York, so they're having some technical difficulties last week. And kudos to OVW for keeping people informed. Like, Blip's working on it. They're keeping people informed where the episode was. So kudos to them for keeping everybody informed. And obviously, since we're on the subject, glad everything's back to everyone's okay in the northeast area. Hurricane Sandy was very devastating. A lot of people lost houses and stuff.
And now they're dealing with snow.
Some people are still without power. So
now they got snow to deal with.
Yep. So
and a nor'easter's hitting them too.
That's
crazy.
Snow, fella. That's what I mean.
No. I see what you're saying.
So WWE coverage. They were in jolly old England.
So
jolly old England.
What?
I was waiting for you. They were in England having tea.
Oh yeah. They were in England having tea and English muffins
with the Queen.
What, you don't like English muffins?
You don't like English?
You don't like English muffins? What do you prefer? You prefer a bagel, piece of toast, a waffle?
I prefer Cody Rhodes with bed and breakfast.
So we kick off the show. The Miz quits Team Punk.
What?
Says Miz that Punk walked out.
That's not awesome.
Said he didn't show leadership qualities.
Nope. That's balderdash.
But
Paul Heyman
asked for your hats or glasses.
Paul Heyman asked Wade Barrett to join Team Punk, and he said no. He said no.
No. He said yes.
He said agreed.
Wait a minute.
He agreed.
But then he reconsidered and said, yes, but you owe me.
You owe me a glass of water.
Water.
I think this is the beginning of Wade Barrett's push to the...
I would hope so, because I'll be honest, I don't care for Mr. Barrett at the moment. I don't. His gimmick is really annoying. That finisher of his just gets on my nerves. Wade Barrett's is not the man he used to be when he was there.
Brad Maddox came out to explain his actions.
Wellington.
Oh, okay.
From the Hell in a Cell, and Mr. McMahon came out and he said, "You young man, you want a contract? You want to fight Ryback? Well, next Monday night on Raw, Brad Maddox will fight Ryback in a one-on-one match, and if he wins, he gets a cool $1 million."
So he's probably going to win.
I'm sure we'll be tuned into that unless you want to watch the Chiefs Steelers game, but that's up to you.
No, I'm good. So while out there, Mr. McMahon said, "Hold on a minute."
Not so fast, my friend.
This was kind of odd. On live TV, McMahon goes to the back. You're thinking maybe they're going to go to commercial. They stay on TV, and he drags Vicky Guerrero out. You're thinking, what's this all about? And he says, "Vicky, you know, being a who you are and the power you have, you think you would have put the title up for grabs at Survivor Series, right?
Right.
You think you would have gave Ryback a rematch for his injustice from Hell in a Cell, right?
Right.
And since it's Survivor Series, one of the biggest pay-per-views events of the year, you would probably make it a triple threat match and put in somebody that stepped aside to give Ryback that shot, right?"
Right.
Wrong.
Oh. But she thinks a scandal.
Yeah, she thinks a certain scandal should keep him out of that match.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon says, no, he stepped aside. He still technically deserved a shot, and he gave Ryback the shot. So basically, he kind of pulled her by the arm and said, "This is what we're going to do." And she kind of forcefully, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
Man. Yes.
So now, Team Punk is out.
No.
Now Team Dolph Ziggler.
Team Dolph Ziggler is now the team captain because we now have a WWE triple threat title match. CM Punk versus Ryback versus John Cena.
Now, who's the team captain of what was Team Foley?
Team Foley.
I mean, but is Foley going to wrestle now?
He's Team Foley, but it's just he's the captain.
So I guess they'll have a replacement for Ryback.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Maybe it'll be Miz.
They'll tie the strings.
They'll get it all figured out. They'll tie it all together. A good point. It could be the Miz.
Yeah, he might be going. I just think he might go turn face this time. He's been here for a while.
We shall definitely see. They also announced, to the behest of Big B, the rematch for the World Heavyweight title. The Big Show versus Sheamus. So we have a team Team Ziggler versus, I'm assuming, Team Foley. We have the World title match and we have the WWE title match, and that's about it. And Survivor Series is less than a week away.
This Sunday?
No, it's
less than 2 weeks away. I'm sorry. So, interesting stuff there. But when we come back from break, we will wrap up wrestling, anoint the Idiot of the Week, and our new wild cards right after this.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar, I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to OVWrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. OVWrestling.com, click on school.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with Gary the Lockard, and Big B, Brandon DeMiro, Kevin Steen. Before we went to break, we were talking about Survivor Series taking shape. What do you guys think? What do you think? Why was there abrupt change there? Why do you think?
I think for them, for this pay-per-view to sell, one thing they had to have John Cena somewhere. And he wasn't on either team last week.
And he wasn't in Hell in a Cell.
They want part of the title to be defended, so Punk looks stronger heading into Royal Rumble when he faces The Rock. That's going to happen. So, I think they're going to add maybe one or two more Survivor Series matches. That's what the pay-per-view is predicated.
That's what it used to be all about.
That's what it's predicated on. Is like people coming together and having these big tag matches. So, I think this is going to do well for them because it's a big pay-per-view. It's one of the big staples, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, that kind of thing. They need to do some little bit more things to get this pay-per-view really as a well-rounded show as it could be. They need to do something with Dolph Ziggler with this Money in the Bank thing. I don't know where they're going with it. They may have a plan in store. I don't know where it's going to happen. Hopefully, he catches in soon, or it's going to get kind of confusing with the WrestleMania plans and how they're going to work on with that too.
So let me ask you this, and it may take away from Survivor Series a little bit, but kind of thinking down the road a little bit from the business standpoint. You had the whole Vicky Guerrero scandal thing with John Cena and Dolph Ziggler was involved and yada. Yeah. What do you think of the possibilities of John Cena just saying, challenging Dolph Ziggler for that briefcase and winning it because of the way he basically gave it up? That's basically what he did. He basically gave it up because he lost for the first time. What do you think of that they may go that route? Because they like to, like you said, they don't seem to want to push people. They like to stick with what they have.
In this situation, I say there's zero chance of that happening. I don't think Cena wins the WWE title for quite a while, to be honest with you. Maybe
but that would be the World Heavyweight title. Okay, well, that's why I'm saying the prospects are possible.
Well, I don't think Cena winning a title for a while. Maybe until WrestleMania WWE title. I think he's going to win that. I think they really want to push Ziggler. I think they really want to push this guy. There's no doubt his skills are obviously there. The guy is fantastic in the ring.
Right.
So I think they're going to give him his shot. They're going to give him his moment in the spot. I think he's the kind of guy they're going to put the company behind in the future, like him and Sandow and maybe Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett and Sheamus. Those are the kind of people they're looking to put the future in. I think Cena. I don't think they would do that to Ziggler. I don't think they would let Cena do that to Dolph Ziggler. To be honest with you.
I agree. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. Simply, if anything, because since Cena's the face of the company right now, then I don't think that they take him off Raw or take him a highlight off of Raw because, Raw and SmackDown are kind of intertwined, but with that belt, it kind of puts him on top of SmackDown more so than Raw. So I think that I think what they're doing is going to be right. I think they're kind of using SmackDown to push their younger superstars now is what they're doing. And I think Wade Barrett, if anything, would be the guy to do that. But I agree with him. I think that Dolph Ziggler is going to get it. I think what may even happen is Wade Barrett knocks off Sheamus. Wade Barrett versus The Big Show, punch versus punch kind of thing. See, maybe go that route, and then maybe even Wade Barrett winning, and then Dolph Ziggler cashing in immediately after.
To mention that, actually, last night, well, we're filming Wednesday, but this is going up Thursday. Last night, WWE main event, Sheamus fought Wade Barrett. So,
do you agree with WWE with what they're doing with they basically took Justin Gabriel and said, and they put R-Truth in his place?
I don't agree with that. I think one match doesn't make that happen. I think.
But now they're like on Monday they were talking. This feud between Cesaro and R-Truth has been building and blah blah. I'm like, it happened 1 week ago.
I think the U.S. title picture is kind of it's fuzzy. They don't know.
Befuddling.
It is. They don't know.
I kind of agree with him. It's going to be Jack Swagger.
I really do. I think because he keeps saying nobody from the United States can beat me for the United States.
I might start going that way, but like they said, the mid-card's picture is very fuzzy. Kofi Kingston's fighting the Miz all the time. No one else is getting a shot at that. Cesaro, he's not really defending the title as much as he should. There's no one really challenging for the title. The mid-card title scene is very, very odd to me.
Yeah, it is definitely odd. So we definitely have a lot of questions and a lot of stones yet to be answered or to be unturned as far as Survivor Series goes. It seems WWE more and more here lately is making us wait till the last minute to figure out what what matches are going to be what. But, that wraps up wrestling coverage this week. Good stuff there. Wild card, guys.
You got a wild card? You have a wild card?
I do actually. It's kind of silly, not really silly, but
let's hear it.
Linda McMahon, of course, ran for the United States Senate. Okay, out of the state of Connecticut. They're approaching their campaign in the complete wrong direction. To be the first woman elected from the state of Connecticut, you have to go another route. And I'm telling you this. They're not saying and doing what they need to be saying and doing to get her up there. Clearly, she lost by 20%. So that's a big. It's not a landslide, but it's a big margin. It's getting close.
It's a big margin.
This may seem kind of silly and kind of selfish, but these two know I can talk with the best of them. Linda McMahon, I know you guys got people watching this show. We all know that you guys, as the WWE, have people watching this show. You hire me as your campaign coordinator, and in 2 years, you will be in the United States Senate. I guarantee it. Come see me. Come see me.
Putting out there, fella.
Bold words from the guy.
She will win.
Bold statement from a bold man.
Do you have a wild card, Sam?
Do you have a wild card?
I ask you first.
I'm asking you.
I think he thinks his wild card's going to trump yours. I don't know what it is. But
I don't. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, this wild card for me, it's not. All the information is out there. I just saw this today, and I was kind of befuddled about it. I'm not sure what's going on. Larry Ellison, who's like an entrepreneur, he's a very rich man. I think he's like the 6th or 7th richest man in the world. He gives like money to the BNP Paribas Masters tournament during the tennis season. There's some kind of story I read today. He gave like I think this is what I'm grasping from it. He gave $800,000 to add to the prize money, and the Players Council turned it down. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would throw down more prize money. I followed the ATP Players Council for a couple years now. That Players Council, it consists of players, hence the name Player Council. But it's the way the ATP is run. They need a commissioner, and I've agreed with that for years. It's run very oddly, and some of the decisions they make, it doesn't make sense to do things like, for example, like when to close the roof, the situation of grunting, about playing players, such things like that. And this needs to be controlled because it's really affecting the game, and it makes no sense for this guy to throw $800,000 towards prize money, give them more money, and they're kind of like, we don't want this. So again, I'll try to follow up on this next week because I don't know all the answers, but hopefully next week there's more information as far as the story goes.
All right, I do not have a wild card. That's why I like to gravitate there. So I guess that moves us on to the idiot of the week, and we touched on him earlier, so we will continue to touch on him, and that would be the referee. Stop it. The referee.
Mine's been the gutter since the minutes the show.
I know. The referee in the Steelers New York Giants game, Mr. Bill Levy, not only for your foul-ups in Super Bowl 40, not only for your foul-ups in this game this past week, but your foul-ups as a whole as a referee. You absolutely suck. And you are this week's Triple Threat Talk, episode 74, Idiot of the Week.
Guys, gold anniversary coming up next week for us.
75. I need my
75.
So, if you want to like us on Facebook, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. You can send any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com, and you can go to our fabulous website, triplethreattalk.com. So for Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
And this is the Doctor.
This is PostMaster Jones.
It's Big B signing off, and I don't have any witty thing to say this week.
Harrison Ford is reprising his role as Han Solo. Just thought you'd like to know that. See you next week.